Hello, Professor Toybox here, along with Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, and we're back for part 3 of the interior build for the Magician's Castle in my Fantasia toy box. We should be able to finish this video today. We're going to work on this section over here, and once again, I'm being really creative with how the inside of the Magician's Castle looks. It is a Magician's Castle after all, so you'd expect the interior to be larger than the exterior. And it seems to me like a magician might be able to create a separate little dimension inside of his castle with some unusual and unexplainable things like a sky and floating islands and a massive castle that fits inside a tiny little one outside. So as we get started here, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this thing. And we're going to drop down a few more of these blocks. And let's see, I think I want to turn this... Oh, that's good. So that the door is on the back side of that. And we should probably make this match the other side with a window there. So we'll do that. And one more. And then on this side, let's see. Just trying to look at my notes. Yeah. So on this side, what I want to do is we're going to set this up for this to be not there, but out here. Like that. And this side of the wall is actually going to be covered up, so I'm kind of looking at the outside here and thinking that I want to rotate these a little bit to try to make this look a little more interesting, and actually that one doesn't go there. So I'm going to take that back out because I need an archway here instead. Yeah. And again, that side will be covered up, so that's fine. And that's good. And actually, no, I didn't do that. Okay. All right, and then to cover this side up, we're actually going to use this. And I'm going to use this because it's only 2 blocks wide instead of 3. And the reason for this will become very clear in just a moment. So I'm going to cover all of these up. And actually not those just yet. Like that. And then we'll go ahead and put the floor in. So with this, I want it to line up flush with the outside of this wall, just like that. And you'll notice that leaves a little ledge here, and that's what I'm going for. And then just to complete this out here and make it look like the building is actually sitting on top of something, we'll do that. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this one around because I don't want that door hanging off the edge. And it would be nice to have a window. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we have a ledge over here. And then we're going to drop down those buildings just like that. And this is actually going to carry across. But before we do that, I want to come over to this side and go ahead and fill in this part of the tower. And so on this end of it, just trying to find... Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Sorry, never mind me. I just want to make sure I put this together properly. So I'm looking at my screenshots from when I built this the first time and laid this all out. So that piece will go in there just like that. And then we're going to leave a 2-block gap here. And the way I'm going to do that is put this tall terrain block back here, like this. And then we'll come out and drop another one of these like that, so that it's lined up on the left side there. And then we can stretch this backward. Yep, I like that. And then I want a ramp going up the wall, because we're going to set a wall up over here. So I want this to be about 1 block in. And let's see, I think that's, yep, only 3 high. And the edge of that should line up with the edge of that. So that's perfect. Okay, good. And then we can go ahead and fill in some of these gaps under here. And we'll flip that around just so it's not quite so repetitive. And actually, this needs to line up right underneath, like that. And now, now we can go ahead and put the wall in. Yep. Just like that. And then, yeah, this needs to be over like that, I think. But let's go ahead and just build this across just to make sure. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. And then I think just so the flooring is consistent, I'm going to go ahead and take that piece back out. And we'll put in this one. And we'll put another one up here like this. And we're going to put that on the back side like that. And it'll be kind of sticking up, but I think it'll be okay. So now we have that. And I'm going to put another one of these ramps in here. Tuck it right back in there. And we need a block. And again, the texture for this block is the Dunbrock brick texture. And we've used that in a few other places in this interior already. So now we kind of have a little ramp going up the side there with a bit of a gap. And I like the way that looks. And I want a tower in the middle. So for this, we're going to use the small tower. And this is basically the same size the bounding box for, it's the same size as that, so it's 3 blocks wide on either side. And we're going to put this down here, centered coming out of that archway. And we're going to make this 2 blocks over. And I want to put a little bridge here. So we're going to come to the platforming toys and go left. And I'm looking for the wooden bridge pieces. There we go. And this will be our spacing. So now we'll slide this over so it's right there. And I'm going to make this too high. So we have this little island that's right there. And I like how that looks. And then I want to add a ladder to get up on top of it. Because there's going to be something the player has to do up there. So there we are. And while we're right here in this part of the platforming toys drawer, I'm going to grab this wooden ladder, the medium size one, and we're going to stick it right over here on the edge of that. And not necessarily that we need it, but if the player decides they want to jump across this, if they don't happen to make it, they can grab the ladder on the way down and they won't plummet to their death. And it kind of looks like maybe this was a bridge across here and somebody cut the bridge on this side and it kind of fell over to the other side. So that's kind of the look that I'm going for there. Like somebody doesn't want you to get up on that side of the room. And then on this side, we need another archway. So we'll come back to group 6 on the building sets and pick up that stone arch. And there we are. So now this little room area over here is done. So I like that. Okay, next thing we're going to work on is this area out here, because that archway has to lead somewhere. And for this, come back to the terrain drawer, and actually, I don't think I have to scroll too far. So let's just keep going to the right. And I'm looking for this cliff edge. And I want to center it, so the left edge of that is centered underneath that archway, just like that. And I'm going to set the style for this to be the Dunbrock theme again. World of the Wisps. I'll make that my theme. And we can put down the rest of these terrain pieces. Oops, cancel. I wondered why that wasn't doing anything. I was hitting the button to get out of Spark mode. So we're going to create like a little ledge out here. We're going to make it 4 of these long. So we're going to put 4 down this side as well. And then we need a cap on the end, and I'm going to use this piece for that. So we'll put it right like so. So now we got kind of a floating ledge coming off of there, which looks interesting. And then I want to come over and pick this piece up and put it back down. That gets me to this part of the drawer. And I want this long, tiny, tall block. I'm going to put one right underneath the door here. And then I'm going to come grab this and pick it up and put it down, which puts me back in that part of the drawer. And I want this small bridge cliff. And I'm going to put this over here, like that. Yep, just reviewing my notes. And just temporarily, I'm going to stick this right there so I can figure out the right spacing here. We'll come back over to the small floating cliff and put this in. Now we'll take that out. I'm going to pick this piece up, put it down, and then the piece I need is right here. So we got a little floating island coming out of there, and we got another one over here. And now I want to come back to the platforming toys drawer and pick up a couple more bridges. And I'm going to use this rope bridge, and we'll start over on this side. And I like this. This is lines up perfectly with that gap, which I really like. I think that works really well. And then the left edge of the bridge, I'm going to line up with the seam down the middle of that peninsula. And we're going to put it right on the edge of the cliff like that. And now I'm going to come pick this up and put it down. And we're going to create another little area over here. We're going to center this. Let's see. Do it like that? No, we do it like that. Yeah, I think that'll look best. It's a little bit of a gap there, but might look kind of funny though, having that be centered, so that'll have to do. Unfortunately, you kind of have to work with the pieces you have. So that looks good. And then I'm going to come over here, we're going to grab this little piece again, and I'm going to line up that gap with this side of the bridge, like so. And we're going to build a little bit larger island. And then I need to plug the hole in the middle, and we'll use this piece. And I'm going to raise this up so that it's just like that. And once more back down to the gameplay toys drawer, or rather the platforming toys. And I need a ladder. We're going to put this on the back side of the wall, like that. So there we go. This end of the toy box is done. That looks pretty good. Now the last thing we'll go ahead and fill in are some details. And so I'm going to come over to the plants drawer, because right now this all looks a little bit barren. And we'll go ahead and drop a few plants down here. I'm going to put this one like that. And we're going to set the theme on this to be the Dunbrock edging. And then we'll go ahead and add some plants over here. So I'm going to scroll over to those Dunbrock trees, which are right here. And we'll put some of these down, just for some visual interest, because I think that would be really good. And we don't want to use the same tree everywhere, so we'll put a little bit different size one over here. And as we come out this way, we can put one over here. Let's see. Something like that, maybe. Or, well, let's put it over here. I kind of have to fit them in. I can't go too far over because it hits the edge of the thing there. And I don't want to cover up that bridge, so that'll have to do. And we'll put the small one, another small one over here. And it looks pretty good. And a medium over on this side. And we can put a little something over here. Fortunately, there's these little bushes. So that looks kind of nice. On this island, I kind of want to cover up these seams a little bit if I can. Not a lot I can do here, but there we are. So we've got a few little trees there. And then for this island, you don't need too many. I don't want to go too crazy with the trees. You'll see on the right, I've got plenty of room on my memory meter. But I don't want to fill this all up because I kind of made that mistake with the exterior toy box. And I wasn't able to put in everything there that I wanted to put in. So I want to make sure I leave enough room here to do that. But you can add in a little bit of detail. So that looks kind of nice. Got a little bit of interest there visually. And we may add a few more details as we go along. Let's head over to the main courtyard and fill some of this in, because this area needs some help as well. And let me slide back to my screenshot that I did for this area. So for this one, let's see. I think that actually is the tree that I'm using. So for this, I want to make sure I leave enough room here along the front of this because I plan to do something here. So I don't want to cover any of that up. So we'll put one of these over here. Maybe a larger one back over this way. Another medium-sized one over here. Another tiny one back over there. And it'd be nice to cover up at least part of this wall. And I think this is the one I want to use. Yep. So that looks kind of nice. That adds some much needed visual interest there. Kind of breaks up all of that green, so that's good. And then on these islands out here, we should do some similar things. So let me get over to the floating islands on my screenshots. And we'll start with the big castle over here. And again, don't want to put too many of these down, but it needs some. And I'm going to leave the backside empty because the player's not going to see that too much. And we'll throw down a couple of trees over here. And that should be plenty. That gives the idea anyway. On this little island, we don't want too big of plants over here because this is such a small island. So we want to make sure we don't put too much down. And that should probably be plenty. And on this one, just a few small trees here to kind of add some interest again. And I want to make sure I don't put them out here because the player's going to have to run around this tower to get to the ladder on the back side. And the tower itself provides a lot of visual interest, so it doesn't need much here. I think that's probably pretty good. Maybe one more little shrub back over here just for something. And that should be fine. And then one more island to go. And for this, we'll use a couple of trees on the front, because I think that would break up this stone facade on the front a little bit. And let's see, we'll put one about like that. Taller one over here. Like that. And that looks pretty good. I don't know that we need anything on the back side of this. So there we go. I like how that looks. So that concludes the build exercise for the interior of the Magician's Castle. There's still a lot left to do though, and some of what we've built might not make much sense to you right now. But over the next weeks and months as this tutorial series continues, you'll start to see what I have planned for these areas. We're going to be building some really fun puzzles and challenges, and I think you'll like how this turns out when we're all finished. Oh, we're missing some terrain over there. That's not good. There we are. That looks right. Okay. Very nice. I like it. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me through these 3 build videos this weekend. I know this was a lot to do, but we're in a position now where we can continue the tutorials. I'll upload the next lesson on Friday, and then we'll get back to our regular schedule. For now, Mickey and I are signing off from our Fantasia world, and we'll see you next time.